Modern Family has been one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm not going to get to everything. I gotta break it up into pieces. The controversies flying everywhere. For the sake of saying it, most of my concern is aimed at the writing team. Whoever signs off on these things, above all, I hate the society we live in. And with that, we can get into it. Mother Tucker. Mother Tucker indeed. We're going to start with one of my least favorite episodes. In this episode, we see Mitchell experiencing unwanted advances from Cam's mom, Barb. Mitch first confides in Claire, who dismisses his experience.
Are you sure?
She minimizes his feelings and chalks it up to their upbringing, saying he's always been like this. She goes on to violate his boundaries and make a joke of it. Mitch tries Claire's suggestion, which is to situate things so that Cam catches his mom in the act. Cam reads the situation differently and confronts him, which leads us to Mitchell telling Cam what's actually going on. Cam admires his mom, and this is obviously a difficult thing for Cam to hear. Instead of responding appropriately, acting concerned for Mitch's well-being, Cam also minimizes it, using the same logic as Claire.
You're just not used to having a mother that shows affection.
During this conversation, Barb walks in and eavesdrops for no reason. This is obviously a private conversation. When Barb realizes what they're talking about, she runs out and she's upset. Cam and Mitchell both immediately feel sorry for Barb. I hate this whole scene, because to me, it kind of feels like it's painting Barb in a light where she's feeling sorry for herself. We're supposed to see Barb as this unassuming person that didn't mean any harm. I get that this might have been an attempt to portray society in a self-aware or ironic way, but the way that this episode ends really undoes that for me.
I would never want to make you uncomfortable.
Barb, it's my fault too.
No, it's not.
Because I couldn't live with myself if things stayed weird. If I go too far, please, you just tell me about it. Oh, almost lost my bracelet. Oh, what
Okay, there it is, okay.
Oh, no, I saw where it fell.
Force field.
Here's a clip from Raising Hope that I just saw the other day that really kind of drives home the point of how, severe this is, the implications that they're making. Barb does take accountability in the end to some extent.
I have a good long think about how I conduct myself. I'm truly sorry, Mitchell.
It's okay.
Well, let's take one quick picture and we'll get out of his way.
Absolutely. Scooch together there.
Sorry.
Okay.
The episode ends with Barb crossing lines in another way that puts Mitchell's feelings on the back burner. If we're giving the benefit of the doubt, this could all be commentary on how we don't believe victims, and even when we say things will be different, they aren't. But is that the messaging that the writers hope to get across, or are we just making jokes out of assault now? This isn't an isolated incident. Leading us to...
Alex, how many goats have to die until you get a handle on your insatiable appetite for high school boys?
Before we get into Alex's crimes, I will say that she went through a lot as a character, and that's something that I'd love to touch on in another video potentially, but right now, we gotta stick to the point, okay? So just stay with me. I want to talk about a plot involving her and a boy in season 3. Alex is pursued by a boy she's not interested in. He continues to approach her despite her obvious lack of interest, and kisses her without her consent. Alex is portrayed to find validation in this romance, and then the non-consensual kiss leads to a romantic connection between the two of them. What? First of all, as a child, this would have traumatized me. Just because they're kids doesn't make it okay or funny. You can't infantilize something that's wrong and call it comedy. Just because this kid has confidence and an accent, we're cool. I don't see this as Alex finding romance or letting her guard down. I see this as her being coerced and persuaded. Another non-consensual kiss takes place, this time between Alex and Ruben in season 5. Strangely enough, Alex and Ruben are caught together. There's an obvious controversy here because Alex is in college at this point and Ruben's in high school. This is also the second time that Alex is in a relationship with someone who initially kissed her without her consent. There's an initial level of shock from Phil and Claire, but they quickly move past it to comfort Alex as she talks about being lonely and not connecting with anyone at school.
You know what? Caltech is hard. Between all the geniuses and breaking up with Sanjay, I just wanted something comfortable, even if it is a wormy little dork that worships me.
Oh, honey, I understand.
Odd message to send. First of all, if you want to argue that the age difference isn't even that big, there is still a clear issue here in the dynamic between Alex and Ruben in terms of power, intelligence, and maturity. It's also not like they dated before she went to college and this is a continuing relationship. If anything, Alex has always been kind of grossed out by Ruben. There could and should have been a more serious conversation about her behavior not being okay. Instead, it's written off as justifiable. It's strange, to say the least, to state that that kind of regression is understandable, therefore acceptable.
If Ruben were just a little bit older and didn't wear prescription shoes,
It'd still be gross.
I know. In my defense, I didn't think anyone would ever find out.
This connection goes on for longer than it should, as we see Alex seeking validation and playing games with Ruben in season 8. After Alex finally breaks up with Ruben, he's begging her to take him back. Instead of telling him that what they did is over, or that it was wrong, and just setting a boundary, she plays hard to get and toys with him. The icing on the cake for me is when Alex kisses Dwight, and then Dwight says,
Actually, it's my fault.
does that sound familiar to you?
It's my fault too.
It feels so out of character for Alex to engage in such inappropriate behavior with people who aren't at her level intellectually and literally aren't her age. She's 18, and the people that she's being intimate with are under 18. Enough said. This, for me, connects back to Mother Tucker, another essay scenario portrayed with a woman in the role of the perpetrator in order to make it palatable to the audience. We don't find it funny when men do it, but when women do, it's okay. I get that Alex needed flaws in order to make her a well-rounded character or whatever, and she certainly goes through more than one mentee B, but this is what we went with? So the interesting thing about Gloria is that she's supposed to be modern, yet she ends up being one of the least modern characters in the show. She's Colombian and proud, but the thing is, pretty much every single storyline she's involved in centers around her culture. Gloria's redeeming quality is supposed to be that she's strongly influenced by her culture, but then that ends up being the butt of most of her jokes, which contradicts that.
Salsa's in. Swimming and running and rowing. It's just like how some of my relatives got into this country. I don't trust lakes. Where I come from, this is where we dump drugs and dead bodies.
For example, Jay, her husband, shits on her culture all the time. He makes backhanded comments about you people, and he's reluctant to embrace her culture, despite being married to her. Gloria stands up for herself, sure, but Jay continues to make these comments throughout the entire show. Other commentary videos have referenced this as Flanderization, but in this context, I think it unfortunately shows Jay not growing in their relationship. Gloria continues to experience that racism throughout her whole marriage. There should have been a more lasting resolve in the episodes, where his diminishing of her culture was part of the main plot. These conclusions where Jay seems to learn his lesson, apologize, or be put in his place, all lose credibility when he comes back 2 episodes later regurgitating the same shit. On top of that, Gloria's Colombian roots are stereotypical and referenced often. She's a foreign trophy wife from a more dangerous neighborhood with drug lords, gangs, and guns. I enjoy an empowering woman who can shoot a gun just as much as the rest of you, but attached to the rest of it, I don't think it translates to empowering so much as it translates to stereotypical. She has an absent, scummy first husband who's Manny's father, feeding into the deadbeat POC dad stereotype. Why did they hit her with the 2-for-1 combo? Claire and Mitch mock her accent in an early episode, and Mitch eventually stops playing along just because he and Gloria have become friends. So you're only not being racist because you're friends and you changed your mind. Also, Claire tried to deport her. In an episode where she and Jay are planning a surprise vacation, they need everyone's ID to book the flights, and Gloria is the pickpocket. Why is the Colombian the thief? She's a bad driver. The writers use La Cucaracha twice as her referenced tune.
Might disappear back, might disappear back.
We asked Gloria to take Lily to pick out her flower girl dress. And we also asked Claire to go. That way Lily doesn't end up looking too...
And when she finally gets a storyline to further her character with her salsa business, would you like to see how she remembers that recipe?
Cilantro.
What?
That car backfiring. Sounded like gunshots. Lemon juice. Capers jalapeno and a dash of black pepper.
Gloria also eventually enters the real estate industry, but I think it's fair to say that that's not exactly a balancing weight compared to everything else we've covered here. Something I can't get over either is just how sexualized Gloria is on a regular basis in this show. So not only is she defined by her culture, and her culture is incredibly stereotypical, she's also objectified as fuck. This writing to me makes Gloria a dated and stale character. There was so much potential to write meaningful storylines for a woman of color here, and while she is certainly strong-willed and powerful, she's a victim of her own writing. This to me feels like an evolved version of Fez from that 70s show. Gloria is obviously more than that, but to me it's still poor representation, and not enough. I know we have to start somewhere, but is it wrong to ask for more? Gloria has a ton of plot that surrounds her roots and her culture, but not a lot of moments where she's just a person. That, to me, indicates that the writers only understand her experience from a certain point of view. It really shows who is in the writing room. I know this video has been full of a lot of... But while watching this show on loop, I also realized that Cam does a lot of things that are completely ridiculous and unhinged. Lots of problems with him. We'll get to that later. Another video, maybe. But for now, enjoy this compilation of moments where if I were drinking milk, it would have come out of my nose.
I don't know what you're looking at. It must be 5 a.m. outside the McDonald's because the fresh meat just got delivered and the weasel likes fresh meat.
Feels like we're in San Tropez. She won't let it go. Does this look like the work of an unfulfilled slacker? There is a social contract. You say trick or treat, you get one piece of candy. That breaks down. We're just a hop, skip, and a jump to a lawless wasteland where we use beads and teeth for money.
We hide it, but you didn't seek.
It's called production value. Factor. This is as sad as I've ever been in roller skates. A car crash, just like there was no moon landing. Flags can't wave in space. Hey.
Breaking the window! Swear to God, I'm gonna break it!
He's the embodiment of childlike innocence. I'll be dressed as a matador.
As the original kids of the show grow up, there's a transition that takes place. The show goes from having a clear contrast between kids and adults to having a universe of adults of varying ages. Adding Joe felt like an effort to kind of keep the original youthful energy of the show. However, if they were trying to keep the kids involved, I would love to advocate right now for more Lily. I would have loved more Lily, and not Joe. I would have liked to see Lily get a sibling and increase the amount of time we spent with that family. Instead, Joe is born to Jay and Gloria, for whatever reason. Jay had many shortcomings as a father. He sort of improved with Manny. We see lots of moments where he, kind of redeems himself, but at the same time, just like with Gloria, he continues to make comments that are not helpful or productive and don't demonstrate any growth. Why is he getting another shot at fatherhood? Should have just given Mitch and Cam the baby. They end up adopting Rex at the end of the show anyway. Then we have these rather undesirable storylines. Joe gives his teacher underwear because that's what his parents do. I have a really hard time with both the lack of logic here and the implications. For this to have happened, Joe would have had to observe Jay giving Gloria underwear. Ew. How? Side note, does this scene look familiar? Oh yeah, because almost the exact same situation happened with Manny in season 4. Side note to the side note, this is only one of many times that this show has parallel scenes across seasons. Lots of reusing and recycling here. Is it clever? Is it lazy writing? I don't know if I'm the one to decide. The underwear incident doesn't make the Valentine's episode very endearing either, or this.
I like stealing. It makes my hair go fast.
All of it feels unnecessary. It feels like shock factor desperately reaching for the audience's attention. Also, we really could have done without Peacock publishing this thumbnail on their official YouTube channel. There are so many instances where Phil ends up in compromising situations, and all of them are weird. A lot of them are either right before the intro or at the very end, which makes me wonder if there's some kind of strategy here to get your attention. In season 1, there's an episode where a new neighbor moves into town, freshly divorced. She's flirty, and Phil avoids her, but ends up helping her out with getting into her house, and then he hides the entire situation from Claire.
Am I attracted to her? Yes. Would I ever act on it? No, no way. Not while my wife is still alive.
Why you lying to your wife, Dunphy? Huh?
In another episode, his ex-girlfriend from high school, Denise, comes over, and he's supposedly unaware that she's under this impression that they're going to have an affair. It also comes out that he overlapped dating both Denise and Claire. I think it's ridiculous that we have these storylines where this guy is completely oblivious, when he was pretty aware of the neighbor's intentions back in season 1. There's another episode where he's juggling divorcee clients, and he's fully neglecting his family and Claire and his obligations as a father and a husband. in order to take care of these clients on a level that is way beyond what I've ever seen a realtor do. There's another episode where Phil goes to the hospital, and he's initially hurt by Claire getting all dressed up for the firemen. Not that he has much ground to stand on there. Then he's entertaining the attention of multiple women who were also in the hospital. It makes me think of the we listen and don't judge trend on TikTok, where couples are basically just admitting that they do terrible things behind their partner's backs. Side note, this is also a dynamic that occurs between Cam and Mitch. Mitch has an old playgirl, and Cam's upset about it, and then Mitch finds out that Cam only goes to the gym to watch rip guys work out. Why are we normalizing behavior like this in committed relationships? Then we have another one of my least favorite episodes. Phil wants to get the record of the song he lost his virginity to, just so he can listen to the track and immerse himself in that memory. Okay, dude. He rushes off to the record store even though he's supposed to be waiting at home for the plumber. Then he misses the plumber. He lies to Claire for the entire episode.
Why are you lying to your wife, Dunphy?
I have a logic hang-up, which is that there's no way he needed to rush out to the record store. I highly doubt that this record was gonna sell. Phil also seems to have a thing for women of color, and Gloria in particular, which is a really gross and unnecessary detail that they sprinkle into the show constantly.
I lied to my wife because she knows I have a thing for black women!
I just hate it when my two girls aren't getting along.
How exactly is she your girl?
Smell Heather for me.
I always do not.
Only we touch our women when they don't want us to.
Picture me standing next to Gloria in a wedding dress.
Full of big tips.
What did you hear?
Oh, I got Gloria! I got Gloria!
Hi, Gloria. How are you? Oh, a beautiful dress.
I thank you, Phil.
Okay. Well,
Are you watching Gloria in my sunglasses?
is she moving in slow motion, or is my brain doing that?
Naked picture of Gloria.
I need to sit.
Doing is deleting it.
Good for you.
Let's go.
I do Jay, why can't I do you?
You can do me.
Phil, you can't move like that. It's like cutting the head of a cuckoo bird.
I'm sorry. I wasn't sure what it was about.
Was that why you didn't want to go to the mall with her?
No, that was more about a weird mall habit that Claire has.
You can't lie to that face. It's a good thing that we're not married.
Well, I don't.
It doesn't help the hypersexualization case against Gloria. He's constantly disrespecting his marriage and Claire. There are more than just little comments or lingering stares from Phil. In one episode, he goes dress shopping with Gloria and pretends she's his wife to impress a guy from college. Then the guy ends up bringing up Claire and saying whoever ended up with her is lucky. And then Phil seems to recognize what he has. Phil didn't value his wife until another man assigned value to her. Phil is a good father for the most part. We see so many nurturing moments for him. We see so many goofy moments from him. But this part of his character in particular is awful to me. I've seen the argument online that Phil just isn't thinking before he speaks, but for those people, watch this scene. Also, to assume he's that dense completely dismisses the fact that he's written by people who are not, in fact, dense.
Someone to push up against me, and honestly, I can't think of anyone I'd rather have pushing up against me than you.
I feel it's been years. I can pretend that I don't hear those anymore.
Hear what?
He doesn't make Claire feel safe in her own relationship. There are other various sexually themed bits sprinkled into the show, some of which I have chosen to present for you today and discuss because I needed to talk to someone about them, okay?
Explain yourself.
I'm taking photos of your feet for perverts.
Sneakers went for over $200. Hitting all of the right notes. Ship it.
You're telling me that Luke was taking pictures of Alex's feet without her knowledge and consent and selling them?
Corey, just one picture. Hold on. Ugh, my feet look fat from this angle. Hey, Alex, wake up. I need you to take a picture of my feet.
Come on.
What is with you Americans and the food?
You're gonna spook the boobs.
I lost my bathing suit!
You okay?
I don't get why they needed to put this on TV. Why? Something I noticed is that twice in this show, men are caught staring at women and their pants are pulled down as a consequence.
Mom, maybe you should cover up.
No, that's crazy.
My house!
I'm not sure if that's implied to be karmic or if it's just double exposure, but...
Why am I doing this again? Dad'll get a kick out of it. Like when we were young and used to wear shoes. Now get up and take a few steps. Did Dad ask for this? No, what do you love it? Maybe dance around. Okay, now jump. What kind of video is this? You know what? I've got to go to work. I'm sorry.
Are we supposed to buy into Luke accidentally filming his sisters in this position just because he wants them to fall and doesn't know what's going on? Oh, I'm a kid doing something sexual, but I don't know it's sexual because I'm a kid, so that's funny. Laugh.
Very lucky to have you.
Oh.
This potential client of Phil's is kissing Claire on the mouth. She's clearly uncomfortable.
Sweetie, do you don't think that's weird?
It's a progressive culture. Hey,
How does that not bother you?
come here, pretty girl.
What?
You are, you know, you don't hear it enough. The other night, when you put on makeup, I was like, there she is.
Oh my God.
Phil also implies that Claire is just making all of this up. Once again, not believing victims. Not cute.
What's Jägermeister?
You know how in a fairy tale there's always a potion that makes the princess fall asleep and then the guys start kissing her?
So many things wrong with that line.
Well, this is like that, except you don't wake up in a castle, you wake up in a frat house with a bad reputation.
Oh, that's definitely not how it goes in the fairy tale. Who the hell wrote that? Let's review. Girl is drunk, falls asleep, is kissed while asleep and drunk. Are you guys starting to see a pattern here? Because I am.
God, yes! Oh, God, yes! Oh, get after it! Oh.
Get it? It sounds like she's having sex. You could say it's not that deep, but I would argue that it is that deep. What we find funny reflects how we view each other and ourselves, and in today's world, that is deep. Pretty much every character in the show deserves justice. Pretty much every character in this show sucks in their own way. I know it's a TV show with fictional characters. On TV, things can be exaggerated and played up for entertainment. Things are said that wouldn't slide in real life. Here's the thing. I think it's worth looking at what we find funny and why. Humor is a reflection of our society. It can be a way to cope with some of the more unfavorable things we experience as women and as people of color. At the same time, it's hard to enjoy it when it doesn't feel like we're being laughed with. It feels like we're being laughed at. Modern Family. You are modern in that you fail to properly represent anyone. You are modern in that you're full of microaggressions and perverted angles. You're modern in that I love you, but you still kinda suck.